a little bit about just competing on the shelf for my attention when I go into the convenience store or the grocery. Yeah. For, some categories are snack food, some are, appetizer type things. Like, I'm just trying to wrestle with, macro. Nationally, snacks are down as a category, right? Due to the diet trends of the day, right?
Right.
People think it's due to economy or the impacts of the GLP-1 diets that folks are on. Like, but yet you're rising in sales, rising in footprint and appeal. Like, just why you're so awesome? Like, how's this working?
We have a really powerful go-to-market approach, which I guess is unique in snacking. Especially here in the Northeast, where we have a full-service DSD team. Another shout out to Farrell Distributing and
what does DST mean?
all of our other distributors that believe in what we're doing. So DSD stands for direct store delivery, and the best way I can describe this is you go to have you ever been to a grocery store at 7 a.m. and you see somebody from, let's say, Frito?
Yes.
They don't work at the store, but they're packing the shelf out.
Yeah.
That's DSD, where the store doesn't need to use any of their labor to, go in the back and open up boxes and put it on the shelf. That's called direct shipment, when you go directly to the store's warehouse. We are in a unique position where, especially here in the Northeast, we can offer both. When it comes to snacks, DSD is pretty much limited to the big players: Frito, Utz, Campbell's. That's really it. All other new snacks have, to go through KeHE or UNFI or, be in the Better For You channel. We have a group of independent beverage distributors that are trying to diversify their portfolios.
Wow.
Beer and snacks go perfectly together, right? And so we're coming in, we have all these great brands, we got great tasting product that we can now couple, with beverages and run really cool promos. But to answer your question of competing on shelf, DSD allows you to do some pretty cool things that you wouldn't get, if you're going direct. Like, you can build displays and off-shelf merchandising vehicles. You can, have racks that you go into some of these convenience stores, you see metal racks. Like, those are our distributors going in there and setting it up, and where we're now able to really get product in people's faces. You walk into a store, you see Cabot popcorn.
So you see,
everywhere.
It's like a merchandising advantage compared to.
Right, I would say correct. One, we have great brands, which if we ship direct, like our brands have the cachet where people will try them. But you couple that with being able to build walls of product,
like your Guinness
people
offering,
try,
right? Guinness beer and then Guinness pretzels,
right?
Like why did it take 200 years for Guinness to want to do that? I don't understand.
Right, they're excited about
it's left hand, right hand stuff. Yeah,
right. That's another really good overlap with beer distributors. But I think that's a big strategic advantage that we have. It's an expensive way to go to market, but you can do things that a lot of other startup brands can't, that are pretty much limited to the big dogs.
I want to ask, there's so many Vermont food companies or aspiring food companies. I'll give you a chance to chew. Your company, you've bought brands, you bought a brand, you've licensed some others, and there's certain pro cons to owning it, controlling it, right? Which versus licensing it. Like, what advice do you have on the pro cons of that for the next Adam out there that might be trying to do a food company?
Like, for when it comes to just licensing versus owning, or just advice for a food company in general?
Like food company in general, yeah.
Right, because I feel like for us, like, some brands make more sense, you want to license them. Like, it's better to license certain types of companies than,
What's the better part? Is it because you don't have to build a plant to make it?
Right,
or
exactly.
The brand value you can leverage? Or
it's too expensive for our strategy to provide enough ROI, right? Like, for $1 billion company, you grow $100 million product line out of it. Like, how much of the needle is that going to move? Or it's too complex. That's another big thing where, you have the complexities and operations, or it's too different than what they're currently doing. And also just the way they're structured, like Cabot, for example, the people at Cabot, they're the first people that believed in us. We work very closely with them, but Cabot's a cooperative. It's a dairy cooperative. It'd be, you couldn't.
Different ownership structure.
Different ownership structure. So like some on that front, I would say, we're going to continue licensing, because we believe in it. But also, when it comes to buying companies, we're kind of building that reputation now, like especially with how quickly we were able to turn Wisps around. Like we could be good stewards of capital and find, value where there is. But to your point on starting food businesses, what I've actually I've had a couple friends that have asked me this too, and I think people get too hung up on manufacturing in the beginning. I think that is a big decision. If you're trying to build a branded business, and a lot of people don't realize this, I think, just as consumers, is there is a very big difference between a manufacturing company and a branded business. A manufacturing business at its core, if you think about it, is you have an asset. You're trying to get as much value from that asset and run product through the lines in the most efficient manner. That's a manufacturing, and it's an expensive asset versus a branded business, and you're just trying to get product out of there, right?
Yeah.
If you're a branded business, there's a lot more nuance to it where, you got to go, you got to build a marketing program. You got to build a, shopper market, promotion calendar, go to market, you got to pay slotting and all this other type of stuff to get the brand out there. And I think people starting out should find, if you want to create a brand, create a brand. If you want a manufacturer, build a plant and get capacity through it. Because if your dollars are better spent growing a brand than spending $20 million on a manufacturing plant, especially with a new company. Go into manufacturing once you have scaled and you already have the throughput, for the thing to pay for itself.
Yeah, funny, you just nailed the similar story to Lost Lantern whiskey.
To what?
Lost Lantern whiskey, right? And they had the brand, they had the expertise, they had the shelf space, the reach, and the product, the blend. And they're building that business well in advance of having to put millions of dollars into building a standalone distillery.
Right.
So
it's
build
tons
demand
of capital
instead of supply,
and it doesn't grow the brand.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on the type of product too. Like some of them are very niche. You know what I mean? Like specialty type products. Like you can see brewery. You know what I mean? Like a brewery in Vermont. Like you have the brewery. I don't know anything about that business, but when it comes to traditional CPG, that would be my advice. Don't manufacture too early.
I love it. So what's next? Are there any iconic brands that you want to be a part of farmer companies in the future?
We're always looking. We have a couple big things that we're working on right now. Don't want to jinx it, so
don't jinx it.
Maybe that's podcast 150.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
But yes, we're always looking for products and brands that are synergistic to our portfolio, and add incremental value that don't take money away from one and into another. We want it all to rising tide raises all boats.
Yeah, right. And again, it's a very interesting mergers and acquisition market by brands as well. You get to a certain size and certain folks come knocking. So we'll have you back.
Yeah.
I mean, basically.
Hopefully before 150.
Yeah, and bring more than
which one
bring
is
more
this?
than meat sticks.
This is
Bring some
104.
popcorn.
This is 104.
Yeah.